So, Doctor, lovely meeting you. We are interacting for the first time,
Same here.
and you're coming from an academic background, and I'm a hardcore foot soldier or feet on street, as I say, and blending what I learned in the classroom and applying it in the marketplace.
That's wonderful. Nice to know that that is actually expected.
Right,
Like what you learn to be taken into life realities. The purpose of teaching is that, and teaching or learning is that you learn it, take it ahead, and you mold it in your own way. The base only the academics gives us the background,
right,
and it's like, so you inject a medicine, it spreads and
right,
acts according to your body system.
right,
It's
right,
something like that. That's what I think
right.
exactly what you're doing. That it is
Absolutely.
good listening to
I had the
how you do it.
privilege and honor to for the IGNOU Institute, Open University, to handle the optometry program, and then at the Yashwantrao Chavan Maharashtra Open University. And Open University is something so beautiful that children who are economically challenged, they can actually do a day job and study in the night, and they don't have to attend classes. There's a zero attendance policy. But that's where I learned something very interesting. In the whole year, there are 52 weeks. If you take out the, say, 6 weeks, 2 weeks of Christmas holidays, and 4 weeks of the summer break where it's really peak, maybe April or May, where it's really hot. So if you remove that, it comes down to about 48 weeks, right? So
Right.
for a professor, for an academician, whatever we teach in the institute, as Paulose said, is that if we teach them in the morning. Now, when I went to a Jesuit education, we used to have something called a unit test. So we didn't have to cram for a terminal exam or a final exam. Every few units, that means every few weeks, we would have a test. And the portion would be covered of that. So in the same way, whatever the professors teach academically, if the students go into the real world and apply it. Now I'll tell you a joke, but it's a true thing. Is an American kid was asked, "Where does milk come from?" They said, "From the Tetra Pak." They don't know that it has to be milk from the cow or milk from buffalo to be put into that pasteurized and then put in the Tetra Pak. So there's no ground reality. Do you feel now with our new education policy which has come out, right? And everyone is talking about the new education policy. Do you think that changes are already happening?
New education policy, it is pretty good in a way. It sort of reverts what we have been practicing. It focuses a lot more on skill building, like not just the theory which you learn and what we have been hearing from the previous discussions, that in the schools exactly they say it's a waste. It is nothing like you learn. But
Right,
in communication, the professional courses actually, we you tell the students, like in, for example, it's a journalism. Whatever you learn, you're going to practice.
right.
In research, whatever you learn is when you apply it. So it's a sort of applied research you do it. In journalism, professional, all professional courses, it's not just you something you hear and you forget. Then in Bloom's taxonomy, the remembering part, it's there. It is building. You need to remember, recall. You must be able to reproduce. At the end of the learning, it is actually you need to produce something new, which is very, very, very relevant to it. So,
Right,
NEP new, educational policy speaks about skills which is being needed to build the nation. So we
right,
need a lot of job generation is needed. The alternate approaches to not the traditional, the huge things. It's not just that. Is that all? You can look around and see what is suitable to the society, what is needed, and explore that. That is what the spirit of NEP 2020. It is beautiful. But the
yes,
question comes how much it is being imbibed. It's still in the transition period. And if you
right,
take it in the right spirit,
yes,
and it's going to be really, really very much like a utilitarian approach. It is
right,
going to
right,
be
right,
actually going to practice it. Like you
yes,
said, you are the person who actually in the field.
yes,
The purpose is that. But how do we prepare the faculty? Because a system which has been already there, and you adopt into the new system where it is a student is hand holding. This is
Yes,
not a teaching, that concept is no more there.
yes,
Ideally, in NEP, it's a you handhold based on the different needs of the particular student.
right.
Some may be good in skills, some may be good in kinesthetic, maybe good in memorizing, maybe writing.
Yes,
Some may be, nature, related persons. You need to understand the student and handhold according to the need of the student. This is
right, right.
there are a lot of gaps in that. How can big system with so many numbers can we do that? The skills which we required a faculty or a teacher,
Right.
are we into that? All those concerns are going to be addressed. But in essence, it's a me in person. It is very good. It is a very good
I want to
approach
take
to
this
that.
conversation in a little different way. See, I have been interacting with journalists since 1987. Now we're in 2026. Earlier, journalists, till today, they have a beat. They have a sports beat or a news beat or the headline or the editorial, different beats which are there. The journalists of yesteryear would really go into the market, find the authentic story, get both the sides or different viewpoints of it. Today, according to me, sorry, with no offense, it is more of armchair or laptop or desktop journalism where you search something, put it in. People are hardly making a call to an unknown person or getting a different voice or a different opinion. So, what we are reading in the newspaper today is actually just a monologue or one voice. It's not a rounded. According to me, a true journalist is who gives the opinion. First is reporting the facts and figures. That is, according to me, journalism, and then they could conclude a story and give it their own flavor as a concluding, or maybe at the beginning. What is your opinion on that?
So, like exactly like the earlier journalism is focusing on 5W1H, what's happening, who, where, what, when, and how.
Yes,
And today, and there was only very minimum, platforms to give you information. Today, there is enormous channels are there. Wherever you look, you get information. Maybe fake information nowadays. It is AI generated information. You have a mainstream journalisms like newspapers and media, televisions, and all that. It is available. But but today, what we need is analytical journalism. That is, how do we understand our system? How do we understand administration? How do we understand the politics, that is, or the economy? So, what is interpretative? What is the impact of that? What is happened? Analytical comes into that. To how does it affect the society? How does it? How can it mold the positive stories, bring positive changes to the society? They need to include. You are exactly right. It is catering to many factors are there. That conglomerates are there. They cater to their own needs, but inclusive stories, whose stories are not told. So, like we have a good media who really go and like the Hindu and all. They really do development. You used to do a lot of development stories. No, what is happening? The story which is being not told. Who will tell their stories?
right.
So, so,
So
so
this takes me to another topic is bad news sells faster than good news. Whether it's murder, rape, dacoit, scam, you get depressed reading the front page. I remember reading on page 14 of a leading newspaper of a simple village person who was crossing the track and he knew that the train would come over there after 20 minutes. In the track fixtures, he saw that it was broken and the train would definitely get derailed. He went to his hut, he picked out a red cloth and he ran at least a kilometer and a half ahead and he waved out to the train to slow down and it stopped. And when they examined the track, they said yes, if the train would have gone over, it would have got derailed, thousands of lives would have been lost, all the bogies would have collapsed. Now that came on page 14. That was an innocent person, an uneducated, but he had the ways of the world. So why does bad news travel faster than good news? I know of a lot of Facebook channels which have started with good news, where people want to hear happy news. about unsung heroes, as you talk, unsung she heroes who have gone out of the way, not waiting for a Padma Bhushan, Padma Shri, or a rose or a card, but they will do things for unknown people without expecting any gratitude. So why can't that journalism come on the front page?
So basically, if a journalist decides, so in journalism, basically you look at is a storyteller, is an independent decision maker. If the will of the journalist is there, I tell the story which creates an impact to the society, the whole world definitely get changes. But there are multiple factors. He doesn't want to tell the story or doesn't want to take a decision of his own, her own. That unless and until we address, the society will not change. But there are daring journalists. They take journalism as a mission to build the society. So that was the earlier commitment was the journalism is to build the society and to shape the society, the opinion generation. All that is the role of the journalism. And whose opinion we change. There are a lot of theories which says that you what to think about. So all that's what is happening because the stories are to mold on or create a trend of your own interest, maybe political interest or maybe the business interest or whatever it is. It is totally different. But the media which has a will to mold the society with a proper vision and which is inclusive, the total scenario would change. And there it is the media owner, the will of the journalist, the commitment, that part that it is our society, it's our nation, and we can build it. The change would
So
definitely happen.
the statement, the pen is mightier than the sword, and nowadays we say the drone is mightier than the throne, right? So in there are a lot of journalists who get a label that they are a pro a particular political party or pro either they are left or they're right centered or completely they get a label for that. I think a journalist is a person who reports the facts and figures, who doesn't dilute themselves into the story and reports the way it is. So why do journalists take a slant in a particular direction? Do you think it's the right thing they're doing?
It is as you already said it, because it depends on the person. There are multiple factors, maybe social, economic, political, and where do they stand for.
Is
And
it the editor forcing them to do these things?
could be that also, but editors generally take a good stand in many media because they try to balance. The journalist has pressure, the editors also got pressure from their top. They want to balance the business. Today, news is a business. It is not a service. We all know that. And in that business, completely it's not going to the business, but a certain aspect of community responsibility also it does today. Therefore, we get diverse stories, good stories, some very good investigative stories we get, some developmental stories you get. It's not that completely they are blind to, completely they go into, but some element. It depends on the media also. What is the focus? That is the editorial stand. It is the business stand they take. It's a non-fact to everyone. But for a public need to be really educated on the media. What is the which it is very open these days, and which media stands for what, and what factor you take from that,
Exactly.
and I mean the online media. What is it really disseminating? We all go to the mainstream media only to know what is really happening.
Right, right.
Though we scroll
So
everything.
why is the
Why
media
is
called the
that?
fourth estate, and which are the earlier three estates? Can you throw light on that?
The fourth estate, it is basically, it is the whole three supporting ones are by the media. But you need to take everything to the public. So what's happening? All administrative factors, the building, the blocks there. Uh, it need to be educate the public, to inform the public, and to shape the public. So therefore, that is the supporting factor for that. Unless we don't know anything, media doesn't speak. Media is quiet. Media get diverted. Everything will be collapsing. So therefore, you need a building. One of the this not the building block, which is it is the media. That what helps to build the society. We need to be informed to create an informed society.
As a
Of
teacher who
course,
has shaped so many thousands of students and been a journalist and a practitioner, who are your mentors? Who do you look up as the most ideal journalist?
uh,
Maybe from the yesteryears, maybe from the present time.
it's like I look at many journalists. It's just
Okay.
like I watch major mainstream media. I look at the Hindu. I look at the New Indian Express. I look at the newspapers which is politically aligned. And I've been taught to read between the lines, like from the college times onwards as a social worker practitioner. So what the media say, don't take it. Be skeptical, and you have a vision for the society. You have your own ideology. Whom do you believe? Where you see you're also part of a society where you put your own effort to shape it. So I don't have an ideal journalist, but certain journalists, I don't want to name it here, who really gone in search of the real time stories of the people. So they
Right.
are the ideal, the peace Ainat of the Hindu. I always uphold the story which he did it. You went in search of number of the stories, went into the parts of the country. That stories are never unfolded, and that is the story of the people will tell. It opens. One story opens the real life of the people the out over there, the administrative system it speaks, the law system of the country which is never responded, the economy of the whole thing. When you tell a 360-degree story today we speak about, it it covers the opens a reality which is actually out there, and it's basically a call for everyone to look for the gaps. And we all have a responsibility as an economist. You are a business person. Whose economy are we
Yeah.
representing? Who's to whom are we producing those products?
Right.
And where is that business going to?
Right.
And how much it is
I want to just
serving?
conclude and ask you, see the Gen Z. I have nothing against them. I've got two children who are Gen Z. They read this news in shorts. Now, recently in our Indore city, there's been a huge water problem.
Yeah, right.
Supposing my son landed up in Indore and he has not read it and had some of the local water without knowing that it's be boiled or have a bottled water, he could have fallen sick or will be admitted to hospital. So, what is your message to the Gen Z? Is just reading news in shorts good enough, or they should deep dive into news as a
Yeah.
journalist as well as a media teacher?
Okay, Gen Z, see, information everybody access. There is always demand for information. Gen Z is access information. It is crisp and short. Is very easy. You get it here. You need not go, sit, open, search, reading and all that. In 50 seconds, this is news. Whatever you need, it's there. So it is very, very important. Know what is happening. So the short information gives you just what is happening around, and it is what the curiosity, if the story can link to their life, that is also challenge of the media today, then definitely they go into it. Is also the orientation to the Gen Z's, which not everyone stop there. There are Gen Z's really go into the details of the stories. If you speak to some of the students, they follow what is the American policy, why the president behaves that, what is the religion, what is Afghan. There are Gen Z's who really go and study what theories, and they literally go and refer. You need not guide them also. There are not everybody same,
Right.
but it matters how can this story create curiosity, and that short news can connect to their life,
Right.
which is with them or those around. It really opens a way to explore further. So
Sure.
that is what which I
Thank you.
feel.
Lovely
It
chatting
was
with you.
nice.
Thank you,
It was the
Doctor. All
same
the
year.
best.
Yeah, thank you.